So our next speaker is Professor Sudhir Kumar, and he is our sixth and last speaker for this webinar. So first of all, I would like to introduce our honorable head of the department. So he worked in the area of environmental biotechnology and graduated and post-graduated from Punjab University, Chandigarh. He did his PhD in biotechnology as CSIR fellow from Thapar University, Patiala. He is postdoctoral from Department of Chemical and Biological Engineering, South Dakota School of Mines and Technology, USA. His research work is in the area of bioleaching of previous metals like gold, silver, and e-waste, and assessing the impact assessment of e-waste on human health and environment. He is also actively involved in screening and application of thermostable enzymes from natural habitats. He imparts training, education, and promote technology extension in the area of biogas and agriculture residues among students and society. Now I would like our honorable HOD to take over from here and start his presentation.
Thank you, Naveen. Good morning, everyone. I am Sudhir from Department of Biotechnology and Bioinformatics, JP University of Information Technology, Vaknaghat. Thanks for joining. Let me first of all tell you about the location. This Vaknaghat is in Solan, that is in Himachal Pradesh. And before I tell you about the opportunities in biotechnology and bioinformatics, let us have a view about the programs that we have in the department and a brief introduction that where I am and where I am working. So I'll tell you about the department and then we'll move further with our presentations. You know, if you want to have opportunities in biotechnology and bioinformatics, a student has to enroll in some program. So these are the programs like all over India and other universities also. And these academic programs we have here in the Department of Biotechnology and Bioinformatics at JP University. The university was established in the year 2002, and that was the same year when the department was also started. So we have an undergraduate program in BTech like bioinformatics, BTech and BTech in biotechnology. And also then we have our postgraduate program that is MTech in biotechnology. And then in 2018, we added 2 more programs, that is MSc Bioinformatics and MSc Biotechnology. And I'm very happy to inform you that even in this lockdown in July 2020, we got 10 sponsored seats from Department of Biotechnology, Government of India. That is like in engineering, we have GATE. So in biotechnology, we have GAT-B, which is a graduate aptitude test in biotechnology. So that seats we also got in the department. So when the students enroll in these type of programs, so they look for different type of skills and opportunities. Other than that, you know, in India, there are different benchmarks to see what is the status of a department, what is the status of a university. So this university is approved or recognized and accredited by NAAC, and our programs in the department, they are actually accredited by NBA. The faculty of the department, we have 17 strong faculty members. All of the faculty members are PhD in various areas of their research. And not even that, many of them, they are postdoc from very good institutes in India as well as abroad. And due to the constant hard work of students, PhD scholars, and faculty, the department could also get 10 patents which are granted, and many are in pipeline. So due to all these activities like scholars, students, and research activities, many government agencies actually, they recognize us, and more than 25 crores have been given to the department under various funded projects. You know, the projects are very important to have a research build up of any university or department. So we have, the department has projects from all the agencies like DBT, DST, ICMR, DRDO, and many more. So this is about a brief of the academic programs that we have in our department. Now I will take you to what I was thinking about to tell you about opportunities, because I feel many of the participants may be students or they are just studying. So let us now see what I want to tell you. My dear friends, the power of letters. You know, my name is, I am Sudhir Kumar. And if you see the second sentence, it is also, I am Sudhir Kumar. What is the difference? The difference is of a full stop, but as a whole, there is no difference in the meaning. If I remove this full stop, even then I'm a Sudhir Kumar. If you see the third sentence, if I change am and I, am I Sudhir Kumar, the meaning changes. If I say, if I delete few words from Kumar, the meaning is different. If I delete few words from Sudhir, the meaning is different. And in case last one, if I replace R with P, I'm a totally different person. I'm Sudhir Kumar. Why I would like to tell you about this? So this is the power of letters in biology. My dear friends, DNA which is on the hotspot, cell is a factory, DNA is in the hotspot, and protein is actually the production line. The language of the DNA is ATCG. So 3 billion base pairs, a huge number of base pairs in a particular cell, and we have a particular sequence. But what happens if you have changed something due to some genetic diseases, due to some mutation? As I told you, I can be, just by a change of one letter, I can be Sudhir Kumar. If you change this C with T of a particular gene, which is actually coding for a very important protein, which is CFTR, then what happens? This protein, which is CFTR, will not able to restore the function, and ultimately the person suffers from a very, very acute genetic disease, which is named as cystic fibrosis. Now I'll take you to this cystic fibrosis and then a land of opportunities. What I want to tell you, just with the change of one letter, we actually, this beautiful structure of the protein changed, and the protein is malfunctioned. It is not able to now have a proper functioning. What is the function of this CFTR protein? Actually, my dear friends, what happened? This protein is very important on the airways, in the lungs, or on the mucous membrane, or I'll say epithelial cells. It provides a mucus, it provides a watery base so that your breathing is actually fine. If this protein is malfunctioned or it is not good, ultimately the mucus is thickened and a person is not able to breathe. You know what we think? Breathing is a natural process. We never thought about that this can also be a problem. So ultimately what happens, a person who is actually suffering from cystic fibrosis, they are not able to breathe. And the life expectancy may be up to only elementary school, or with few medicines, just 20 to 30 years. Now, what is the power of biotechnology in this particular field? Now you have to change this T again with C. The people are doing experiments world over, and this is called gene editing. People are doing, people are trying, that's fine. But the second school of research, that is how we can restore the CFTR function. So I'm very happy to tell you that since 2012 to 2020, there were beautiful experiments in various labs that how to restore this cystic fibrosis protein CFTR so that its function is at least 90% okay. And in later part of the 2019, the scientists could discover a good potentiators, good correctors, or in I'll say that some drug molecules which attach to the CFTR, and they could actually reduce the impact of this CFTR. So in other way, I'll say improved its function. So ultimately 90% of the function was improved. And now the good news is in the later part of the 2019, the good news is that most of the patients, actually they are children, they have now a very good life expectancy because this problem is resolved. So what is the message to you? The opportunity to you? The genetic diseases like cystic fibrosis, where so many patients are there, so many children are suffering, and due to the constant effort and research, today in 2020, we could restore the function of CFTR, if not by gene editing, by other ways. There are a lot of opportunities in the other genetic diseases. You name a genetic disease like muscular dystrophy, like Alzheimer. So there is a lot of opportunity to work in this particular area where you can progress. Now, if any students are there as a participants, you must be thinking, but that is a very high profile research. What is the opportunity for me just now? I'm just an undergraduate student. I'm just a postgraduate student. What is the opportunity for me? My dear friends, I would like to tell you, skills lead to opportunities. What is the message that I would like to give you here? You know, there is a common saying Being beautiful is an advantage, but after 5 minutes, you are on your own. So what is the meaning of this? The meaning of this is you may have very good degrees, you may have very good certificates, you may have BTech in biotechnology or BTech in bioinformatics. You may be graduate or PhD student, or you are already done your PhD. But what will happen? If you are not having any skills, your certificates, your degrees will surely land you to the door of a potential employer. But ultimately, if you don't have skills, you will not able to grab the future opportunities. I'll explain it further. You are a BTech graduate, but you don't know how to run a PCR. You could not get how to program PCR. You are not sure about what is a fermenter. You have gone through a course of microbiology, but you are not sure about what are the microbiological techniques. You do not have any wet lab experience. You have done a molecular biology course, but you never seen a gel. You could not extract the DNA. So, my dear friends, this is very, very important that wherever you study, wherever you work, please see, are you developing some skills? And in this field of biotechnology and bioinformatics, skill is very, very important, more important than your certificate. So, this is the overall picture I would like to show. You may have a very advanced knowledge of biotechnology or other fields, that's fine. But I think 70% of your skill should be developed in the practical or in the wet lab. So wherever you go, wherever you work, please try to see what is the infrastructure, what type of skills we are going to get. Just getting theory and just getting 90% or good CGPA till up to 9 is of no use in this particular area. You have to have some hands-on, good experience in so many areas. It is not important that you will only go in all areas. You can select one area, bioprocess or molecular or drug delivery. But wherever you select a particular area, develop your skills. This is very important to get opportunities. My dear friends, these are the labs, few of our labs, which is there in our Department of Biotechnology and Bioinformatics. You can see some of the labs like proteomics labs, tissue culture lab, our bioinformatics lab, some high-end instrumentation facilities. So in all, in this department, we try that the student should learn, student should have good hands-on practice in various types of streams of their liking. If you see just an overview of that, there are various labs, like some are working on diagnostics, some are working on microbiology, some are working on bioprocess engineering, some are working on animal tissue culture. So we try to give them a lot of experience, lot of hands-on. This is very important for any organization, for any student, that you go through at different areas so that you learn, develop your skills. Now, this is a very interesting thing. In our department, my dear friends, we have two centers of excellence. One is a center of excellence in sustainable technologies of rural development, and one center is a center of healthcare and medical informatics, and also a very strong section of outreach programs. So what we do through these centers and through this outreach program, we actually interact with the school students. We go to different colleges. We even invite various faculty members and staff members to our campus also. And whenever we go to other universities, schools and colleges, we take some minor equipment also to show them some of the little experiments. During these interactions, my dear friends, I realized that bioinformatics is a type of field which is having not proper awareness among school students and even in college students. So here I would like to introduce, I'm not expert in that area, but I would like to introduce those who are new to this area that what is a bioinformatics. And the other name of the bioinformatics is computational biology. My friends, most of the people say that it is a relatively new science, but I disagree. Why? I'll tell you. By the time I'm explaining this, you must have seen there are 3 pictures, and I'm sure you must have recognized one is cat, another is dog, and I'm also sure that third picture is not, you could not identify, even I could not identify. How I could identify that this is a cat and this is a dog? Because during our childhood, someone, maybe parents, maybe our relatives, maybe school teacher, a person from society, they have shown us that this is a cat, this is a dog. The image is processed in the brain. And ultimately, today, if I see the picture, the same picture, a related picture, within a fraction of a second, my brain computes that this is a cat, a signal comes, and I identify. So my friends, a computational biologist is actually sitting on top of everyone, and that is brain. So data is there throughout our life, and we could identify this is a cat and this is a dog because there is a huge data on our brain, and we feed it, and today we could identify it. My brain say, sir, third picture could not identify because there is no similarity index. Similarity index for this is 0 with me. So that is actually the power of this computational biologist, which is brain. So I'll explain it further. Because this is a field which is very, very important to the all the biologists. My example is, for example, I am a teacher. If I'm teaching 2 classes, and in one class I have 100 students, in another class I also have 100 students, and someone says, sir, there are 20 students which are more than 6 feet in one class, and 20 they are also 6 feet in the other class. And now I would like to take a sample of 40 from each. What is the probability I'll get that how many of students I'm getting taller one if I identify 40, a random student from each class? You know, there are difficult equations of stats. I have to put some data and the probability will come. In the similar fashion, if you today tell me, sir, this is 100 patients which are like suffering from ovarian cancer, and these are 100 perfect normal one, and probable this is a gene which is probably involved in a ovarian cancer. So what I'll do? So you, with the help of this computational biology, probably you can narrow down to that gene. If you identify that this is the gene which you are thinking about, so you have a genome sequencing of all 100 which are having cancer, the other which are not having, and then you can correlate, and with probability and computational method, with full 20,000 gene, you can narrow down to one gene, and you can save time. You can design drug targets while sitting at home. Excellent branch of biology, which is a computational biology. So what are the opportunities linked with this biotechnology and BI? I abbreviated BI for bioinformatics and BT for biotechnology. If you can see on one side, there is a like picture of a book. So I'll say this is biotechnology. You have like a printing block is required, and a book is required, a paper is required, ink is required, material is required, and then you the book is prepared. This is biotechnology. But what is written on that? Maybe 3 billion letters, ATGC, ATGC. How to analyze that? How to compute that? This is actually the bioinformatics. So the opportunities, the land of opportunities in these 2 fields, I'll take you to 3 revolutions in this beautiful science of biotechnology and bioinformatics. My dear friends, in 1995, the first genome was identified, many bacteria, including one mycoplasma. You know, when I say genome was sequenced, now you know where these ATGC are sitting in the mycoplasma, what is the total number and what is the sequence. When in 1995 the sequence was there, then there was a need of computer scientists, there was a need of mathematicians, stat people. So here, when I say the BI is the application of stat and information theory in the genetic research, that was a time when the people from the allied fields like biochemists or mathematicians or statistician or a computer scientist, they venture into biology because there was a data and you have to analyze the data. So this was a time when interdisciplinary research, so biology having a different domain. So I should say that the mathematical angle of the biology was actually explored in 1995. Now from almost from 1990 to 2003, a major project, Human Genome Project, sequencing of the human genome, 13 years, 20 labs, $3 billion were actually spent in that. And ultimately, after 13 years in 2003, parallelly 2 labs announced that human genome is sequenced. a beautiful milestone in the history of these beautiful sciences and in biology. But you know what happened? Actually, by 2005, there were lot of revolution in the biotechnology instrumentations, where you could spend 13 years, 20 labs, $3 billion in 2005 with these high throughput sequencing techniques. One day, only $1,000, and you can sequence the human genome. This is a milestone, you can say, in the biotechnology and bioinformatics, and that is the power of these two sciences. So 2005, I said this is the second revolution in the biology, where you could spend 13 years, now you could spend only one day and minimize the cost also. So what happened? I was thinking to discuss with you that there are three technological revolutions which happened in the field of biology, 1995, 2005, and I see that a lot of opportunities. Now when you have a massive data which you need to handle, you need computational approaches, you need a lot of mathematician stat approaches and biology. I personally feel this is a time when a student will come to a university, sir, I would like to enroll in biology. I should say your prerequisites are mathematics and computer science. So a biology student should learn that this is a different era where you have to have a different type of opportunities. Now, so this is my message to all of you, that why I explained about these things. Power of togetherness actually leads to opportunities. I'm a biologist. Do I need them? Of course you need them. You need a base of maths. You need a base of physics. You need a base of computer science, electronics. Never ever feel that being a biologist, I do not need the support of these. I particularly feel these are the building blocks to learn biology. Very, very important. I'll give you my own example. I was in class 11th and an option was given to me, you have to take biology or you have to take maths. So I selected biology. I don't know why. So ultimately what happened? When I was actually in job, a course was given to me which was genetics. And when I saw, there were 3 chapters: population genetics, quantitative genetics, and probability in the genetics problem. So I was not aware about probability and stat. So I used to rush every day to my colleague in the maths department, a senior colleague, and he used to teach me probability. Then I used to go to class and take my lectures. So my message to you is, this is a building block, and I'm very happy to inform you that here in JUIT, what we did in 2018, and all good universities actually, they have employed that system. 2018, the full course, the first year course, a computer student, an electronics, civil student, a biotechnologist, and a bioinformatician student, all will have the same courses. And the courses are basic maths, it's physics, it's workshop practices, engineering, graphics, good computer programming, which is a need of the hour. So I'm very happy to tell you that when you give this togetherness to the student, maybe they will have an initial hesitation, but now all of them, they have passed out first year with very good grades, and most of them, they're in second year and third year, and now they're equally good in the computer programming, they're equally good in other fields. So this is actually the building block of biology. So this is my message to you. This will bring you opportunities. Now, so what do you need to give to students then? You need to give academic flexibility. I'll give you one more example. I was in class 7th, and another option was given to me in my school. Would you like to take Sanskrit or you would like to take drawing? I selected drawing. Again, I don't know why. I came back after 2-3 days. I saw most of my friends were having in Sanskrit class. I went back to my teacher. I said, sir, I would also like to join Sanskrit class. He said, now you cannot. So actually what happened? I could not learn Sanskrit, and my students know when I draw diagrams on the board, my drawing remains poor. So you have to give academic flexibility to the students, and I'm very happy to share with you a model of our department, a model of our university, what we do here to actually give academic flexibility to the students. So first thing which we do in our department, final year of the program of the degree, whether it is a BTech bioinformatics or BTech biotechnology, we have an option for the students that final year of the project work they can do in University of Nebraska at Omaha and South Dakota School of Mines and Technology, USA, without paying any fee of their project work, but they have to spend on their travel and stay, but no fee. So this is a program which gives them exposure. You interact with the outer world, you interact with various different professors in different labs. In life, it is very important that you interact, you go out, you venture out. So that opportunity is given to them. And I was talking about flexibility. What flexibility we gave? My student who is doing BTech biotechnology can take minor specialization in bioinformatics, in computer science, even in civil engineering, even in electronics. So what is the degree then? After 4 years, the degree is, sir, I am BTech biotechnology student. I earned my degree in BTech biotechnology or BTech bioinformatics, but my minor specialization is computer science. That give you an edge over other students. You can have a lot of good opportunities of employment. You know coding, you know programming, you know biology, you know molecular techniques. So that cocktail of the things give you actually the edge to other students. And also that is, you might have been pushed to biotechnology by your father or mother. But ultimately when you will come here and you may realize my field is computer science. My field is biomedical and it is there in electronics. My field is only information technology. We give flexibility to the students that you design your own degree. And if you don't design your own degree, I feel you are at loss. And also within the field, if you feel, I feel more interested in infectious diseases, for manufacturing of vaccines, for diagnostic, we give you that you take more courses in medical biotechnology. And if you feel, sir, I am interested in fermentation industry, wine industry, beer industry, or fermented foods, you can opt for industrial biotechnology. So similarly, a student may say, sir, I don't like the electives which are there in the department. I'll take elective from other sources, other than universities. Even that is allowed. This is something which is actually food for the mind of a student. You have to give the flexibility to the students and mandatory internship in the industry. So this interaction, skill development, academic flexibility actually shape your opportunities, actually give you a lot of freedom to have employment in various different domains of life. As I was telling you that we have a student exchange program which is going on in the university since so many years. Just I want to show you these motivated faces. That student exchange program happened in 2017 to 2018. So these students, like 7 of them, they went there. And I'm very happy to inform you that when you go there, when you work there, a foreign professor see you, how you are working, as you are in the lab. So what happened? These 2, out of these 7, 2 of them, they got opportunity, direct PhD after BTech. If your CGPA is good, both of them now, Gorky and Vagisha, they are in USA doing their PhD. Even in 18-19 batch, Payal and Priya, out of these 6 students, they are also in USA, selected there for their higher studies. And it is not that other students are not doing good. They are also looking for good opportunities. So you have to give yourself exposure. You have to give yourself something so that people will select you. If you see this graph, my friends, when students join us, the first question parents asked me and my faculty, where my son or my daughter will be placed after 4 years. But what happened during this 4 years, in the vibrant atmosphere of the department, under the great mentorship of the faculty and the staff members, what happened? Most of my students in the 4th year say, sir, we would like to go out for higher studies. This is not the end. BTech is just a building block. So you can see this red color. Most of them, they select higher studies over placement, and many of our students, they are going abroad, doing good. So these students say that we are learning from our, like as teachers, but I'm telling you that we as faculty also learn from these beautiful minds, young minds. I'll show you my a little bit of at a glance video of my few of alumni. that where they are. They are BTech Biotechnology, BTech Bioinformatics, but in various domains in India or abroad, doing excellent. So this is a motivational factor for even teacher. So I'll continue my presentation, but you enjoy this small video of our alumni of the department.
In 2013, I then went on to pursue my master's in genetics and human disease from University College London in the UK, where I was also the recipient of the UCL Genetics Institute's Master's Scholarship from 2013 to 2014. I've also qualified the CSIR JRF with an all-India rank of 44 in the general category, first rank. I'm currently pursuing a PhD at the University of Arkansas in Law, Research Assistantship. I'm very grateful to my institution, JUIT, for building the foundation of.
Hello everyone, I am Nitin Arora. I am an alumni of JP University of Information Technology, batch 2018, with a bachelor's in biotechnology. And currently I am pursuing a master's in food science and agricultural chemistry at McGill University. Merci beaucoup, which means thank you.
So you might have seen this video now. Now you cannot send everyone to USA for project or for final year training program because there are so many constraints, financial constraints, time constraints, and selection and CGPA. So what we do, this is very important to give exposure to everyone. So this is a very important part of the department that we take our students every year to different organizations which are nearby, which are of repute, and good organizations where they can see a feel of a research. You know what happened when we take them to industrial trip to different organizations, for example, at Nabi Chandigarh or Mushroom Center of Solan or Potato Research Institute Shimla or so many other organizations, you never know which factor, which interaction will motivate a student to go in that direction. So it is very important that continuously they should go out, continuously they meet. So this is our very important part of the department, that industry visits and interactions. Now I was talking about the flexibility and I was talking about the skills, but you know, something is there which is fixed. I told you cell is actually the factory and DNA is in the hot seat and protein is actually the production line. So here the DNA, by using this mRNA, tRNA, ribosomes, so they have to go for a very important biomolecules protein, and this is a process of translation which is very important. So what I want to tell you through this picture, power of designing of the proteins, and what is the power of design and the opportunities in biotechnology and bioinformatics. Before I take you to this power of design in proteins, you must have seen by now LeuPond. So what is this? This is a hybrid of a wild male leopard with a female lioness. So we all know that the traditional breeding experiments in animals or plants are going on since ages. Mendel did it with pea, and so many other, they did it with animals, that we know. But you know, now we have moved, since the dolly was created as a cloned animal, we have moved a long journey in the power of design in biotechnology and bioinformatics. Could you see these fluorescent animals? So this rat or this cat or this monkey, why they are glowing? Because we know that there is a type of jellyfish which is there deep inside of the ocean, which can glow light, which can glow in dark due to a particular gene which is called bioluminescence gene. So this gene has been inserted in these animals and now they are glowing. So this is a certain type of design, or I should say a different type of domain of the biotechnology, where you can design an animal which is glowing. What else? If you can do it in monkeys, I think you can do it in human also. And if you do it in human also, it is very easy to find us in night. We all will glow. So what I want to tell you, this beautiful structure of the protein, which is a folded structure, what today we are looking for. Whole world is looking for a universal flu vaccine. And let me tell you, my dear friends, vaccine is something which is, when given to a particular person, give you a very good immune response against the pathogen. And the best known vaccines are, if you design a protein, my dear friends, if you design a protein, it means that is not naturally present. If it is not naturally present, the hot seed DNA is not having the information for making that designed protein. So you should have a synthetic gene for that. We are already into that, so many scientists, and we know the history of synthetic genes. So synthetic gene, when make a protein molecule, design a protein molecule, today we are looking for, when you have a designed protein molecule with lot of different viral proteins, if you fuse these things, I think you are going to get a best vaccine to combat this COVID-19. So I feel this is an opportunity whole world is looking for to make a vaccine, and the answer lies in the design proteins and fusion of the various flu viral proteins. Difficulty is it mutates very easily, but can we make a universal flu vaccine? This is an opportunity. So in the biotechnology and bioinformatics, you will not get opportunity just enrolling in a course. You have to continuously working. You have to go for higher studies, and you should be motivated and deep go inside a particular field. So lastly, I would like to take you what I think is an opportunity in biotechnology and bioinformatics. I think genome is a universal diagnostic tool. There is a massive data. Genome can be sequenced, and then you can see where are the errors. Today, we can screen a lot of different genes which can cause cancer, which can cause cystic fibrosis. It may not be useful for me, but they are very useful for the patients who are suffering from them. Students are involved in so many games and they download apps every day. Why not protein folding and DNA games? That you change a particular set of ATGC, and then your whole set of proteins and the sequence of the amino acid will also change. So that should be the future, that should be the employment, that should be I think, source of employment. Have venture into this new field, protein folding and DNA games. And why not we have one world and one flu vaccine? This is just a crazy thoughts I am giving to you, but we should go in that direction. And I strongly feel that a time will come. This is a century of cell. This is a century of biotechnology and bioinformatics. This is a century of biology. And I would like to see that if you ask a computer engineer why you have taken computer engineer as a major, and I would like to listen an answer because I would like to go to biology. And a biology student, if you want to enroll in, you should have maths and computer programming as a prerequisite. We need to change it. We need to have a very good togetherness in all these fields. And as we have Microsoft labs of various computer science programming, why not we have Microsoft Protein Design Lab? Why not we have New Delhi Protein Design Lab? This is just again a crazy thought. Look for that opportunities, think big. And we may have bioluminescent pet shops. It's already there in many countries. Some are saying it's ethical, some are saying it's not ethical. And even yesterday, one of my friends was saying, if we insert a bioluminescence gene in criminals, they will keep on glowing and you can identify them. It's a crazy thought. Look for that. We look for new biomaterials which are sustainable, which can give you a lot of edge over like other traditional materials, good materials which can give you a lot of biofuels, which can give you a lot of good environmental benefits without pollution. Why you have a kundli matching, genome matching for marriage if it is a cost effective? Why not? Why you have Facebook? Why not you have genome book? So, and then lastly, I thought prayer will also change. I'll say in the morning, oh Lord, my ATGC should be, sequence should be retained, and there should not be any point mutation, there should not be any frame shift mutation, there should not be any deletion, there should not be any duplication. So my point to highlight here is, please do not involve yourself in small things. What I'll do after BTech, what I'll do after MTech. Please venture yourself into one field. That may be molecular biology, that may be bioprocess engineering, that may be tissue culturing, that may be any field, or it may be system biology, that may be healthcare also. And go deep inside that, opportunities will knock you into. At the end, I would like to tell you, that if you are good in skills, if you are good in everything, so why not you become a teacher? This is also a good opportunity. If you like teaching, be a teacher. This is a great opportunity for any bioinformatician or biotechnologist. So most of the people, they do not feel that this can also be one of a source of primary employment. I think so. So this is a great opportunity in the field of biotechnology where you can motivate masses. You can interact with the young mind. So this talk could not have been possible without the motivation of these speakers, and I could learn from these speakers. I took material from these references. I think what I said is just 1%. If you go through these references, you will get the actual feel what I want to tell you. It's beautiful talking today with you, that you interacted and participated in this webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your highly motivating presentation. Now let us take some of the questions of our participants. So first question is, what is the criteria for admission into bioinformatics?
Naveen has handed over me the question sheet. I will try to explain few things to you as per the questions which are coming to me. And if I'm not able to answer some questions, then you can post it on the email and then I'll reply. So criteria for admission into PhD in bioinformatics. My dear friends, the criteria of admission in bioinformatics or in biotechnology or any field in the JUIT, we have a PGET, like postgraduate entrance test in our JUIT. So the applications are still open if you go to JUIT. So applications are open, syllabi is also given there. So you have to go through a test, and in this COVID pandemic, probably there will be online test and then interaction after that. If you qualify that test, and then further interaction will be there with the panel, and then we select the students. And for that, if you have any further query, you can also call us. And but for the time being, you need to fill the form and send it to the required person. The information is given on the JUIT website. Someone has asked that what is the scope of MSc bioinformatics graduates in the industry? You know, most of the software industries, they also venture into the massive data which is coming all through in all labs, whether it's genomic data or other data. And I would like to tell you, our bioinformatician, our bioinformatics student, actually they go for so many computers subjects too. They learn Perl, they learn computer programming, they learn C++, they learn so many languages, they learn like machine learning courses there, biological database is there, biomedical is there, so many things they learn. And I'm very happy to inform you that in the final year, when the companies come, whether it is SCL, whether it is Infosys, whether it is Wipro, so most of the BI student of my department, they qualify and they go to that industries. And most of the BI student, actually they are working as a computer engineer with just with the computer science or IT students. But personally, I feel that they should go to more and more different type of domains, because this is the era of data also. Data storage, data analysis. So there's a lot of opportunities, and let me tell you that there is an information in Europe, there is dearth of bioinformatician, but not that you have just a theoretical knowledge. Do you have skills? So bioinformatician, whether you are BTech, whether you are MSc, even you are not BTech, even you are not MSc, if a person who is taking interview and he or she feel you are good in particular skill, they may hire you. So please focus on skills. Course is okay, whether you are BTech, whether you are in MSc. Someone has asked me what is a milestone in BI in 2020. My actually intention to tell you about the journey of this, the name which I actually gave 3 letters. So my point of view is like from since 2005, 2020, there are so many things we are doing, and sitting at home, working at home, you design model drug molecules and using a human genome, which is the reference genome. So my point is we are progressing a lot in this direction. So sky is the limit for biotechnology and bioinformatics, but you should be ready to study more. So there are a few more questions, so you can have my email is there, Naveen email is there. I'm very thankful to my staff and my other faculty members who are here sitting in this cabin and helping me making this presentation. Thank you so much. Be motivated. I'm very sure when this COVID pandemic will be over, you please come to this beautiful land of Himachal Pradesh, and I'm sure you will like our campus, which is again in the beautiful geographical location. Throughout around there are forests, and we are here inside like 1800 students and 200 to 300 staff member and faculty members. Please come here, join us after the pandemic is over. I'm sure you will share your happiness with us, because motto of our department is equal participation and equal opportunities for all. So I would like to see you in the department, and thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you everyone. This was our last session. If you have any queries, you can mail your queries to us at admission@juit.ac.in. Thank you for your patience. Thank you so much.
Which